Turn on the blue light.
Blue light turned on.
Switch off the light.
Okay, the light is switched off.
This is the new BioMax Generation 9 red light therapy panel. In particular, this is the BioMax 450. But BioMax have updated their entire BioMax range, the 300, 450, 600, and 900, with a few new features. Can you guess what the big one is? Yeah, you guessed it, voice activation. At first, to be honest, when I heard about it, I thought, that's a little bit gimmicky. Is that really what the update is going to bring? Just a voice activation feature? Saying that, having used it a few times now, it's kind of cool. It's actually a little bit useful. Is it an absolute game changer? Probably not. Is it going to attract a lot of sales from competitors? Yeah, I don't know. Let's talk more about that later in the video. So let's get started. I'll also share what else has been updated in this new 9th gen panel, and I'll do a full test as well. Yeah, so I'm affiliated with this company, PlatinumLED. That means if you order using the links down below, you're going to get a discount. Pretty cool. And I get a small commission. So just keep that in mind as we do this review. So PlatinumLED have been in the red light therapy space for a long time, 10 years, I think, regarded as one of the best red light therapy companies when it comes to panels, have consistently performed very, very well in my comparison series and reviews. It's a panel that I've used. Lots and lots of people rave about these panels. Is it perfect? No, definitely not. But there are a lot of good features. So when they announced their new 9th gen panel, everyone was kind of excited, including myself. Now, of course, we've got the voice activation feature, and I want to explore that a little bit more later in this video. But you also have new and improved internals. Whether this leads to any real change for the end user, I'm not too sure. It's meant to be more reliable, better manufacturing practices, but I've never really seen any issues with reliability or longevity when it comes to PlatinumLED panels. Still, it's an improvement. And then the company has rolled out a few more warehouses around the world. So if you're in Canada, for instance, they offer free shipping. You just pay the taxes. So not necessarily specific to this panel, but that was part of the 9th gen rollout as well. And they also have a new warehouse set up in Germany. So this means people in the EU can get free shipping, inclusive of taxes. And there's also free shipping to UK-based addresses. However, you'll just have to pay your import VAT tax. So included with the panel was this one-pager. Think of it as a cheat sheet guide to the voice commands feature. So of course, all the basics are there. Turn on the panel, turn off the panel, change what lights are running, red only, near infrared, blue. But you can also change the intensity and change the timer. So let me run through a few examples. First, you wake up the device by saying, "Hello, Max."
Hello, hip here.
Then, of course, you can turn on the lights. So all lights on. Once it's running, you can do a few more things, such as reduce the intensity.
Okay, reduced.
Red light to 20%.
Red light 20% set.
Turn off the blue.
Blue light switched off.
20-minute timer.
Okay, we'll turn off after 20 minutes.
Switch off the lights.
Okay, the light is switched off.
So there we go. Everything you can do on the control panel, you can pretty much now do by voice. Obviously, it's going to be really good for people that are vision impaired, but it is a feature that may simplify life just that little bit more. Of course, as I mentioned, this feature is now available in all the BioMax panels, but since I have a BioMax 450 here and I haven't reviewed one in a while, I'm going to do a deep dive on this review. So what do you need to know about this panel? Well, it is, I guess, regarded as a tabletop panel. Of course, I have it hanging up. You can get a stand or a mount and use it on the table. It's 19 inches tall, 12 inches across, so it's good for upper body, shoulders, head, knee sort of treatment areas like that. It weighs 17 pounds and has 150 LEDs. These are single chip. I nearly said dual chip. PlatinumLED haven't upgraded to dual chip LEDs. They've put out a lot of information saying why they don't think it's a good move. So I'll link to their website so you can check that out. It is modular capable, so you can get another one of these or clip this on to a 900, for instance, and get a larger stack. And it is emitting 7 different wavelengths, 7. So we saw the blue before. You've also got the reds at 630 and 660, and then the near infrareds at 810, 830, 850, and 1060 nanometers. Now, it's important to note that most of the power, most of the energy is coming from your 660 and 850 nanometer light. There's only a little bit going to the blues in the 1060, for instance. Anyway, let's fire up the spectrometer and I'll be able to show you what's going on. Okay, so as you'll see on screen here, when I move around the panel, you're getting a different makeup of the light. So you can see a little bit of blue when I'm over the blue LED, but of course, when I move away from that, you're seeing more red, a little bit less near infrared. If I go over a area with a lot of near infrareds, you can get a spike in that. So this means two things. Firstly, it's hard to get one snapshot showing all the wavelengths, but let's look at this one. We see the blue down here at about 575. We can see some red at 630, and then a bigger peak at 663. When we move to the near infrared, we see 810s about there, 830 around there, and here's your 850 peak. I can't see the 1060 because my spectrometer only goes up to 1050, but it does show a pretty good representation of what's going on. So the power is allocated to each wavelength as follows. 2% is going to the 480 nanometer blue light, 9% is going to the 630 nanometer red, 39% going to the 660, 5% going to 810, 5% going to 830, 36% going to 850, and 4% going to 1060 nanometer near infrared light. Okay, now as for power output, I had a peak power reading of 96 milliwatts, though the average was much lower at 72 milliwatts. This is still a really good power reading, similar to what the much larger BioMax panels were doing about. Even though I say lower, it's still a really good power reading. We'll pull up the light therapy inside a shopping tool soon to see how it compares. And the total wattage output, factoring in the size, was 77.6 watts. So let's head over to Light Therapy Insiders and see how these numbers compare. Okay, so this is the Light Therapy Insiders website. If you haven't been over here before, definitely check it out. There is some amazing content on here. There's much more content on here than my YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, also jump on our email list because we put out some exclusive newsletters. Anyway, what we want to do, oh, by the way, there's a good discounts page if you're looking at buying. What we want to do is we want to go to the shopping tool here. Now, what I'm going to do next is sort the database to only show tabletop panels because the 450 has 150 LEDs, which is what I class tabletop. Now, from here, we only want to see panels that I've tested, so we're going to tick that box. Now, if we sort it by total power output, this factors in size. Again, top of the charts, much higher than the BioMax 300 from the 2023. That should be generation 8. So you can see that 77.6 watts. So really good. And if we look at it from a value point of view, it's coming in at third place. The Huger is exceptionally well-priced tabletop panel, though lacking in the power, as you can see there. Hey, I have a quick question for you. Are you enjoying this video? If so, can you just hit the thumbs up, like button below? It means a lot to me, helps the channel, allows me to keep doing this stuff. And if you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe, but also check out some of my older videos if you're new here. All right, let's get back to the review. So how much does the 450 cost? Well, it retails for $7.99 US. However, if you order through the discount link down below, I should mention there's no discount code. You have to order through the link. You're going to save, I think it's 5%, and that's going to bring the price down to $759 US. Now, if you're living in the US, shipping is free, inclusive of taxes. If you're in Canada, shipping is also free. There's just prepaid taxes. And if you're in Europe, shipping is free, inclusive of taxes. If you're in the UK, then shipping is free, but you will have to pay VAT tax. Anywhere else in the world, let's say Australia or South Africa, you're going to have to pay shipping and your taxes and expect to pay a couple $100, for instance, if you're shipping it to Australia. Oh, and one other thing, Platinum LED now support HSA and FSA payments, and you can even get split payments with a regular credit card as well. Now, when the 450 turns up, you're going to get a nice box. You're going to get that voice command cheat sheet, which we saw before. You're going to get an instruction manual, some hanging hooks and brackets, a door hanging hook, and you're also going to get this neat little remote. I've reviewed this before. It's a very simple on-off button remote. It's pretty much all it does, but it is rather handy. However, it does, of course, have the voice control mode, and there's a free app. You can download that app and do everything you can on the control panel on your phone. There's also a professional app, which is effectively taking this and putting it in your hands. You can see my reviews on that. Do you need that? I don't think so, with all the ways you can control the device already. As for stands, there are quite a few stand options as well. You can hang it, of course, and go without a stand. You can get a wall-mounted bracket. You can also get the tabletop stand, which may be quite attractive, though it is quite large for a tabletop panel. I mean, it's workable, sure, but it is going to take up a lot of space. If you are looking for something a little bit smaller, then check out the BioMax 300, which I've reviewed in the past. Finally, it has a 3-year warranty, a 60-day return period, but be warned, there's a potential 20% restocking fee. Okay, so what do I like about the BioMax 450? Well, one thing I need to mention is that it is a fully certified red light therapy panel. What does this mean? Platinum LED have ETL certification, which means they can sell these as certified medical grade devices. There's only 2 companies, I believe, that currently have this certification in the red light therapy space. It's an FDA Class 2 device. It has CE certification for the EU, and it has the CBICEE certification for electrical safety. Remember, Platinum LED have been in this space for a very long time. Before they were in the red light therapy space, they actually sold grow lights. So they know LEDs and they know panels probably better than any other company out there. What else do I like about this panel? Well, of course, the 7 wavelengths. There's no other panel on the market that has such a variety of wavelengths. Within that 7, you get the blue. Great benefits there for acne and some other skin health properties. And of course, the 1060 nanometer near-infrared light. We have articles on the benefits of these wavelengths over at Light Therapy Insiders, so I'll put a link to them below. Go check them out, do some reading before you make a purchase. As for controlling this panel, Platinum LED were the first to come out with a touchscreen panel years ago, and it was a really nice, easy to use control panel. It's only got better since then, and in fact, when it comes to controlling these devices, Platinum LEDs are second to none. We've already seen all the remotes that they have, and now they've improved it even better with that voice control feature that I demoed earlier. As I said at the start of this video, is it going to attract everyone who wants to buy a panel because of this one feature? No. It's a neat, nice to have feature. I am curious as to how many people use it. You know what? If you do have one of these panels, they have been out for a few weeks now, and you are using it, I'd love to know your thoughts. I know when I asked Platinum LED about it, they said, oh, we're getting great feedback, and sent me some screenshots. Is that 1%, 0.1% of sales, or is it, a big chunk? I don't know. What do you guys think? Another thing I've noticed with this new panel is it beeps at the halfway point on the timer. So if you're running this for 10 minutes and you want to do 5 minutes on one side and 5 minutes on the other, you can set it for 10 minutes, and halfway through it'll give you a little beep so you know to turn. I like how much power is being emitted from this panel. Platinum LED have consistently come out with high-powered panels, and also at a good price point, so you're getting good value. Speaking of value, there is free shipping to the USA, Canada, Europe, and the UK, so this is a nice addition from Platinum LED. And you're getting that free remote and free access. Okay, what do I not like about it? 7 wavelengths, great. However, most of the power is still going to 660 and 850. Some people say that this is just a marketing play. They're throwing in those other wavelengths just so they can say, hey, we've got 7 wavelengths, even though you're only getting a few LEDs emitting those wavelengths. And that's a fair point. Platinum LED countered this by saying, look, they've looked at the research and this is what they think is the best blend of light. I'll let you decide what you think here. There's plenty of research out there as to what wavelengths are superior. I understand the argument, but personally, I think it would be nicer to see a little bit more power going to, say, your 810s and that 1060 nanometer light, for instance. I think the new 9th generation is more of a facelift. I mean, we see this with vehicles and phones and stuff. Every 2nd or 3rd generation is when you get a true remodel, a true brand new panel with amazing features. Yeah, this is a little speed bump. If you had the 8th gen, are you going to rush out and buy this? Only maybe if you're vision impaired, otherwise probably not. But still, if you're in the market for a new panel, you always want the latest and greatest. Another downside is we don't have the ability to adjust power output to specific wavelengths. Now, Platinum LED were actually the first company to allow you to adjust the intensity down to single percentage points for the red light and the near-infrared light grouped together. But then last year, Roho came out with a panel that allowed you to change the intensity for every individual wavelength. So now 810 and 850 nanometer, both near-infrared lights, you could change the power output accordingly. We still haven't seen this in the Platinum LED panel, which is a shame. It would have been a nice feature to include in this new 9th gen panel, and some people are going to shy away from Platinum LED because of that lacking feature. Another lacking feature is the ability to save preset modes. Again, something we've seen with the Roho panels and now block blue light. I also don't like how the light isn't evenly spread across this panel. You do see some big spikes and drop-offs as you're measuring the power, and it's evident to see even in terms of the light concentration on the body. A big reason behind this is because of the balance between the wavelengths and the fact they use single chip LEDs. Finally, for customers outside of the USA, Canada, EU and the UK, you are going to pay a premium when it comes to shipping. Now obviously Platinum LED do offer free shipping to most of the Western world, but for those of us who live in New Zealand or Australia, they expect to pay a high shipping cost. So should you buy this panel? Well, I've kind of already answered this already. I mean, it's a great valued red light therapy panel. It's a great size. It's putting out good power. It's using wavelengths that have scientific credibility. It's from a great brand. It's very easy to use. There's a lot of innovative features. I mean, yeah, like it's good. There's nothing wrong with it. Are there better panels? It depends on what you define by better. It depends on your budget. It depends where you live, and it depends what you want. What are you trying to achieve? If you had an 8th gen panel, I wouldn't upgrade. If you had a 7th gen panel, you may consider it, especially with the 1060 nanometer light in it. But as always, it's important to look at other panels on the market before you do go out and buy something. I think first up, you need to determine what do you want. If you just want a tabletop panel, you may want to save a little bit of money and get the smaller BioMax 300. It's the same height, it's just a little bit narrower. So check that out. Otherwise, if you want something larger, but without blowing out your budget, then go up to the BioMax 600. It's narrower, but it's longer. It's going to allow you to treat a lot more of the body in a much quicker session. Otherwise, you might want to look at the Block Blue Light Power Panel Pro. Now, this is $810 after using discount code Alex. It also has 150 LEDs, but the dual chip, you get a much better blend of light. There's only 5 wavelengths, but the power is split evenly between these wavelengths. What's different? Well, it has pulsing and it has much better international shipping options. Of course, it is missing out on the blue and the 1060 nanometer light. Another option is the Roho Refined 360. This is slightly smaller with 120 LEDs, though they are dual chip. 5 wavelengths, nice blend of light. It has pulsing, and it also has the ability to adjust those wavelength power intensities, and it has inbuilt preset modes. It's pretty cool. You should check out my review on the Refine 900, I think it is, or the 3600 to see more of these features in action. But the real standout here is the price. After using discount code Alex, you can get the Refine 360 for $500 US. So yes, it's smaller, has some more features, but it is a lot cheaper. If you're unsure though, check out all my reviews. I have done plenty of reviews, and also jump in our Facebook group where we discuss panels, science, podcasts on red light therapy, and all sorts of topics. But in the meantime, check out this video. I think you'll like it, and according to YouTube, it thinks you will as well.